Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we continue to look at the case of 20-month-old Quinton Simon, who was last seen at his home on October 5th, 2022, around 6 in the morning, according to what his mother and her boyfriend said. The FBI has been swarming the area. Everyone's been searching for him. We saw them, put black plastic up on the windows so they could do forensic testing, probably luminol testing. They drained the pool in the backyard. They've been searching all over Savannah, Georgia and the surrounding areas. And sadly, yesterday they came out with this update. Today is October 13th, 2022. So today will be this press conference that they're talking about, and we'll be watching that together. They say, "We are saddened to report that CCPD and the FBI have notified Quinton Simon's family that we believe he is deceased. We have named his mother, Leilani Simon, as the prime suspect in his disappearance and death, but no arrests have been made and no charges have been filed. Chief Hadley will hold a media briefing tomorrow, time to be determined, to give more details and answer questions. We will not be making any further statements or answering any questions until that time. We know that thousands of people around the world will be heartbroken by this news, and we share your sorrow. If you have not yet followed anything on this case, please check out the previous episodes I have done on this with full timelines and map times and everything so that you understand what happened here. This is absolutely devastating news, and what's worse is that Quinton's grandmother, Billy Jo, the one who was fighting the babysitter, she has put out a Facebook message to say the following. Quinton has passed. He's in a landfill, and my daughter done it. She has no memory of it. So Leilani Smith has obviously told her something, which of course the police are also saying she's the prime suspect. But this whole no memory of it, complete blackout memory, is a way, I suppose, to try to go for the insanity plea with the charges that she will be facing. There's also a huge mission now to find Quinton Simon's body. And if he is in a landfill, let's have a look at where that might be. Okay, so if you look at the map here, at 535 Buckhalter Road is where Quinton lived with his mother and her boyfriend, his grandmother and her husband, his infant sister and older brother. His brother's only about 1 year older than him. And on and off, also Leilani's other brother would live there. Now, if we look at the landfill areas around there, you can see there's a few drop-off points that the Chatham County Sanitation site has shown us. Republic Services, Savannah Regional. It's like drop-off centers, right, for waste. But the only landfill near the house and in this area would be this WM Superior landfill. So I would assume that if Quinton is in a landfill, they would be searching this area right here. By they, I, of course, would mean, investigators. So this would be the landfill. It says WM Superior Landfill off Little Neck Road. That's the main center. And this landfill is in a rural area. So from all the research I've done, it's not like this massive amount of trash that gets compressed and gridded out and everything. It's pretty much trucks picking up trash Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in Savannah, Georgia, and taking those filled up trucks to this landfill, dumping and moving on. So because Quinton, I hate saying these words, but it's very likely what happened, because we were all wondering, why would Leilani cancel the babysitter, well, it was her boyfriend, at 5:29 a.m. and only call the police at 9:42 a.m.? Well, the trash has to be out on the curb by 7 a.m. and it would have gotten picked up sometime between 7 a.m. and when she called 911. So as we all speculated, I would think that she waited for the trash to be collected and then decided to ask the babysitter, hey, have you seen Quinton? And then call the police at around 9:40, 9:42. So this would be the landfill where the trash would have gone. I don't know if it would get there on the same day, but today's October 13th, so if we go from the 5th, it went on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11, 12, 13. 9 days. So we've seen cases where landfills are searched 2 years later, and that makes it even more difficult because of all the layers of trash that go on top of, the old trash. So at least this is within a 10-day period from when trash was collected on Mccarter Road. But still, it's the unthinkable that this beautiful little boy was, from what we see Leilani's mother saying, put in the trash. No matter what happens, if there was like an accidental too much NyQuil or some kind of overdose or something, you still do not put your baby in the trash, ever. Don't put anyone in the trash. It's absolutely gut-wrenching to think about. So I did a little bit more digging into the specific landfill just to see, how it operates. And I found some pictures as well. So this is what I mean by they would, fill containers and things and dump it out there, as you can see. And yes, the trash is collected Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Let me know in your area if it's also collected almost every day, because in South Africa, I'm now in the Netherlands, and it's once a week. And in South Africa, it was also once a week. So I'm not used to seeing trash collected every day. But when I looked at the trash collection schedule in this area, it is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you can see here there's a truck as well. So that's what they're going to be dealing with to search piles of stuff like this. Here you can see they separate all the stuff they can recycle and then they compact it. I'm just quickly going to put this presentation up here that I had made for you for all the other episodes we did. Quinton Simon, there's a new update on this presentation, of course, October 13th from the Chatham County Police Department, which we just read. I'm just going to show you this in case you haven't seen it, so that you can pause and read in this episode This is just to know who was living in the house, of course. We listed everyone. There's a couple of pictures there as well. And then we have Leilani, who's now the prime suspect in the death and disappearance of Quinton Simon. He's yet to be found. What an absolute dishonor. And then we looked at the whole timeline together from September 7th all the way to October 5th. So have a look at that if you did miss it in the previous episodes. And if I just pause it here, you can see that at 5:29 a.m., Diana, the babysitter, got a text message from Danny to say that she would not need to babysit that day because Leilani would be with the kids. And then at 6 a.m., Danny says he left for work and it's the last time that Quinton's seen. Now, I don't know. Leaving for work, I'm not too sure where he works. All that I can see is that he's a musician, a rap artist of sorts. So I don't know what kind of work he does. And then at 9 a.m., Dinah received another text message, but that was also actually from Danny. Apparently, Billy Joe Hall called her, but Danny had said, "Hey, have you seen Quinton?" Which is kind of odd after saying 5:29, you don't need to babysit, and then at 9 o'clock say, "Hey, have you seen him?" And then at 9:42, a 911 call was made, which we heard in the previous episode. And then on Monday, October 10th, 2022, Chatham County PD had a press conference. The case turned into a criminal investigation. The house is prepared for forensic or luminol testing. And then there were 40 FBI agents assisting in the search for Quinton. On Thursday, October 13th, 2022, there's a press conference or media briefing, which is what we are going to be looking at today. And there I've put a screenshot of the messages we just read on Twitter from the Chatham County Police Department. Now, if I make myself just a little bit smaller here, what I did here was collect the 2022 Sanitation Schedule. This is for Wednesday, which was what October 5th would have been. I made it bigger for you on the side so you can see all the ones marked in yellow are for trash day. If I move myself to the side, actually right here you can see the different color coding for these charts, and you can see October 5th was a Wednesday and it was garbage collection day. And then you can also see over here they say carts should be placed at point of collection by 7 a.m. Garbage collection. They've also got curbside recycling and garbage collection day. There's holidays and yard waste collection day, and then there's non-collection days that are also listed. But you can see that Wednesday the 5th was garbage collection day. There's actually a schedule for a Monday, for a Tuesday, for a Wednesday, and for a Thursday. As I told you, I just made this Wednesday one nice and big for you so that you can see what happened on that day. So I would think that if they texted the babysitter at 5:29 in the morning to say, "We don't need you to babysit today, thanks, Leilani will be looking after the kids," which the babysitter found odd because she would look after the kids whether Leilani was working or not. But they already knew something had gone very wrong with Quinton by 5:29 a.m., I would think, because that's when they canceled the babysitter. And then at 9 a.m., so at 5:29, that's like hoppers 5, hoppers 6, hoppers 7, hoppers 8, 3.5 hours later. They then texted the babysitter again to say, "Have you seen Quinton?" I think that would have been right after the trash was collected, which is a terrible thought. And a lot of people actually get away with crimes of this nature when they put the evidence in the trash. It gets collected by the garbage. It goes to a landfill. And, if weeks, months, or years go by, the more time that goes by, the more difficult it becomes to find that evidence. Thankfully, as I say, it's been 9 days. So I hope that today, that's what they're doing, heading out there and searching that landfill for evidence, for signs of Quinton, so he can be put to rest in an honorable way. You don't throw him in the trash. Okay, so what I'm going to read you here quickly is just an article that I found that says buried secrets, bodies lost in a landfill, leave unanswered questions for everyone, so that we can just know what kind of challenges they face. They said, no matter where you go, no two searches are the same. But the same principles apply, Holland said. You want to be systematic and organized and effective and efficient. She instructs volunteers to really pay attention to detail and what it is that you're seeing. Holland noted finding bones in the woods or on a ground surface can be really difficult because the environment changes. Identifying bone or human body parts in a landfill, it's still difficult, but it's not impossible. A decomposing foot is going to look like a decomposing foot, she added. But the odds of recovery come with a lot of variables, from how the waste is managed to the time span involved and the rate of decomposition. If someone was put in a dumpster last week, the dump truck was emptied at the landfill, you could potentially go in and look. If it was 2 years ago, it would be completely at the bottom of the pile. In a 2-year-old case, I think it would be extremely difficult to find someone. Here they say Gruspier with the Ontario Forensic Pathology Service said a corpse in a landfill can potentially be relatively well preserved if sealed off from oxygen, for example, due to the compaction process, which is not what happens at this landfill from everything that I have researched. As to pinpointing location, the scientists note technology is of limited assistance. Infrared drones used in search and rescue work rely on heat generation. That's not going to really work in a landfill, Gruspier said, noting that there's too much decomposing matter emitting heat, or, in the alternative, too little because of oxygen starvation. And here's another article that I found, which also talks about recovering bodies in a landfill, and they say bulldozers and shovels will lift sections of material from the landfill and distribute it into lines in another field near the search site. Searchers will then sift through those lines with potato rakes. If they come up empty, the bulldozer will move that material away and start the process anew. It's going to be very tedious. Fall said we only get one shot at this. So you can see there's many cases that are pulled up here. This has not got to do with this specific case. I'm sharing this with you so that you can read with me what they're going to be doing at that landfill if that's where they suspect Quinton is. And if we just look now at the Savannah ga.gov, Savannah, Georgia government site for refuse collection, they say the employees of the Residential Refuse Collection Department face many challenges in the performance of their duties. Through it all, employees remain committed and dedicated to serving the citizens of Savannah. Residential refuse carts should be placed at curbside by 7 a.m. on the day of collection and removed from curbside after collection by 7 p.m. on collection day. Only household garbage should be placed in the cart provided by the city. Leaves and grass cuttings should be bagged in biodegradable brown bags and placed curbside along with your cart to be collected weekly, the day following regular curbside refuse collection. There's a 15 bag limit weekly. And so there you can see, exactly what times, what's happening. And so if you think about that, if at 5:29 a.m. they cancel the babysitter, I wonder if there's any neighbors that report seeing anyone put the trash out that day by 7 a.m. because I would assume they did. And that's going to be some scary footage to see given the situation. So if at 5:29 they cancelled and it's still dark, remember the sun only came up at 7:22 a.m. So it's still nice and dark between 5:29 and 7. They could put that trash out without really being detected all that much. But I do wonder if there's any ring door cameras or something that picked up any activity on the day, which could help in the investigation. So if you do live in the area and you do have cameras and you did see something, please say something. Okay, and now let's have a look at Diana Mccarter's latest live stream. She did previously say she's not going to do any more live streams, but of course, given the situation, she's going to do one now with this update, which was only a day, literally that night. They had a prayer vigil. And that's what, remember, Billy Joe was fighting with her about this memorial. She said it's not a memorial, it's a prayer vigil, which is very common in missing persons cases. She was hosting a prayer vigil for the community to pray for little Quinton Simon. Well, then a few hours later, the police came out with their announcement. So let's see what she says about it over here.
Many people ask me about where Leilani is, and I'm outside of my house, I heard the cops were coming for her, so we've been out here waiting. It's raining. She was in the road. There was a lot of commotion. And then everything just went dark. So I don't know where she is right now. I don't see any cars. I can turn the camera around. There's no cars. If you look right there where that car is going past, that's her.
So remember yesterday, in yesterday's video, we did some map time to show the line of sight between the babysitter's house and Quinton Simon's house. So that is what she's showing right now. And you can see, yeah, it's dark in the background.
House. It's totally dark. It's totally dark. I've had so many messages at one time asking, have I seen Leilani just in the last hour, 45 minutes. I did see her. I was at the truck, me and my girls outside, and we seen her in the road, and they were cussing, and she was trying to leave, and then a vehicle had pulled in, and she went back towards the house. So I don't know where she is right now. I want to see her arrested. And the reason I came live is because everybody is asking me all these questions, and I cannot answer all these questions. So I just came on, but I can go out here. I mean, it's raining. It's raining really hard. But I can show you where the house is. And she was out here. It's lightning. It's raining and lightning out here. Let's see. Let me turn it around. It's dark on the road. They turned all the lights off. But they were in the road arguing. And we seen Leilani, but she just disappeared. So I don't know where they're at now.
He's on Facebook. I'm gonna call her.
But this is what we're doing. But I just wanted to let y'all see, because I've had so many questions and messages. I couldn't just answer them all. But yeah, that is what's going on. That's all I know. I know that they put on that the FBI and cops were coming to get her. But I don't know. We can't believe it. Quinn is gone. But it's not the outcome we wanted. But I'm gonna go now.
The pain in her voice. Oh, my word. And again, she's showing tears, pain. She's talking about missing him. This is not the outcome he wanted. And yet Quinton's mother is in the driveway arguing with people, shouting at the top of her lungs. Like, it's a huge contrast in the behavior, you know. Remember also that the babysitter last saw Quinton the day before. She babysat him the whole day. Him and his brother, and I believe also his infant sister, said goodbye to him, and that was the last goodbye. And that's not something she would have ever imagined. That must be absolutely heartbreaking. Let's have a look now at the prayer vigil that was held just hours before the police came out with their announcement.
It's been a full week since the disappearance of 20-month-old Quinton Simon, with very little details emerging from the case the last 2 days. Residents gathered for a vigil to pray for Quinton's safety. Dozens gathering in Daffin Park in Savannah with one thing on their mind. Where is Quinton Simon? These supporters have no connection to the family, but have been touched by this emotional situation and just wanted to do something to show concern for everyone involved.
It's been 7 days. I feel like a baby doesn't just vanish into thin air, and we haven't had any updates. Everybody wants answers. Let's pray for some answers. Prayer does not hurt anybody.
And answers are exactly what federal and local law enforcement is looking for as this search continues into its second week. The Chatham County Police Department says they have new evidence they believe will break the case, but those waiting are fearful that those answers may come too late.
I'm concerned. I have one child, he's 32, and I have 2 grandchildren. And you would have to sedate me to keep me from going outside and begging for help. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I pray that he's with Jesus now instead of suffering.
Reporting in Savannah, Brian Gallagher, WSAV News 3.
Oh man. And here you can see footage of Leilani in her vehicle.
Family home. She declined to talk to the media. Police say that she last saw the boy last Wednesday morning. Meanwhile, the FBI resumed their search of the area today, this time behind a neighbor's home, but they were only there for about 45 minutes.
So here you could just see she's driving out and then just covering her face and just driving away. She hasn't done any interviews. She hasn't pleaded for her baby to come home or anything, which would also lead to, amongst everything else, and the evidence they have found, which the police have not told us what that evidence is, she's the prime suspect, the mother of Quinton Simon, the one who had actually lost custody of all her children already. I do wonder if her mother, Billy Joe, who had custody of the kids, is also going to face charges or be in trouble in any way, because of course she was away, out of town, on a temp job is what she said. I'm not too sure what job that would be, but she was away from home at the time. Apparently her husband was home, so I would love to hear from him, like, what's the timeline? What were you doing? Where were you at on October 5th? You know, it would be interesting to hear from him if he was at home, because we haven't heard that part at all. We just know that Billy Joe was out of town. But if she had full custody of the kids and left the kids in the care of their own mother, of course, who had lost custody for many reasons, and now Quinton ends up dead, wow. I would be very worried if I was her, because she could face charges as well. We'll have to see what happens there, though. So, of course, we have to take what is shared on Facebook with a grain of salt. But here, Roxy was asking that very question. If the grandmother was working, where was Grandpa? And someone here said, I believe he was out of town with the grandmother. Whoa. So, I wonder. So, Jenny said, I don't believe that is the case. I believe he was out of town, but not out of state as the grandmother was. Hence why he arrived back home almost a day before she did. Right? So, they say, in my opinion, the grandmother should be arrested for accessory or violating custody rules or something. She had custody, but yet the daughter was with him. Seems a little effed up to me. The grandmother should be charged with neglect for sure, they say. So, you can see people are furious, which is understandable. At the moment, I'm feeling devastated by the news. But if I really think about it, yeah, it makes me pretty angry to think about it. And as we know, they last said, we've seized evidence that we believe will help move this case forward, and we're now working to analyze the evidence to see where it leads us. So that led them to make the announcement that they believe Quinton is deceased and that their prime suspect is Leilani Simon. So let's see what we find out in today's press conference. Of course, I'll be there with you. And remember to subscribe. Make sure the bell is turned to all so that you don't miss out on notifications to let you know when I am live or when there's a new upload or when there's any breaking news or things like that. In this case and all the other cases I'm covering as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that now you are ready and all caught up by the time we watch the press conference together so that we're all on the same page and we can see what do we learn today. What are they going to say? And hopefully they find little Quinton Simon really soon so that he can be buried with honor and dignity, which he absolutely deserves, as does everybody. Never, ever put another human being in the trash. It's terrible. So, stay safe. Please, if you could, hit the thumbs up, not because you like the topic or the content, just to boost it into the algorithm. Share it so that everybody can share this with a hashtag Quinton Simon so that it's all categorized nicely on social media and easy to find so that everyone can get up-to-date information. Okay, I'll see you later.